The number of you visiting farmers markets is growing, and the state agriculture department says the number of markets has tripled in Ohio in the last 5 years.
But the number of inspectors checking those markets hasn't changed. So the I-Team's Hagit Lamore investigated conditions there. She joins us now with what she found. Hagit?
Well, the 3 states in this region vary widely, from multiple inspections to none. But even those checking conditions do it rarely, which means you, the consumer, need to pick with care.
I don't like broccoli.
It's a beautiful summer day. Sun is shining, flowers blooming, markets booming.
$2.
From the small-time farmer selling direct from the fields,
See one you like?
to the amateur selling home-baked goods, to the larger operators you see at markets all over the tri-state. There's something for everyone.
Well, we like to spend a nice morning outside and come out and support the local farmers.
It's fresh. It's a kind of a community experience.
An experience that has grown wildly in popularity. But what hasn't grown is the number of state and local inspectors checking conditions at farmers markets. We asked for inspection reports and found next to none. So the I-Team decided to spot check around the tri-state. From Wyoming to Hamilton to Ross in Ohio, the Boone County Farmers Market in Kentucky, and Lawrenceburg Market in Indiana.
Glad to be here today at the Anderson Farmers Market.
We found many vendors do it right. They don't touch the food with bare hands. They label properly and follow other rules set by county and state.
Hi, how do you do? My name's Tucker. I'm actually with the county health department.
But watch what happened when we tagged along with an inspector at the Anderson Township Market.
Looks like here we have a roasted garlic parmesan sauce or an Alfredo sauce. Both of those would require refrigeration.
No ice in the cooler.
Roasted garlic is all the way up to about 48.
So that violates code?
That would violate code. We'd want to see 41 or less.
And that wasn't all.
But she has no license. She's got no hand washing station. She's got no anything.
After informing the owner, the inspector ruled.
We're going to have to shut it down.
Just pack up.
Back up.
3/10 over, another problem.
Did you have your mobile license with you today?
The vendor couldn't produce his paperwork
I'm going to ask, since you don't have a mobile license, that you stick with produce.
and lost the right to sell his meat and eggs.
I'm Jason Channels, Ohio Department of Agriculture.
Next, we tagged along with a state inspector at the Wyoming Farmers Market. More problems.
I stick this in there for a few.
Well, it ain't gonna be cold yet. We'll just go.
This vendor drove from Indiana with eggs in the back of his truck.
Can you spare one of these?
What's that?
Can you spare an egg?
For $4, I can.
All right.
The inspector says the vendor also isn't labeling properly and has no license with him. Some don't have a license at all.
Now, to serve, you would need a temporary food service license from Hamilton County, or mobile food service license. Do you have those?
No wonder some vendors break rules. Sometimes they don't know better. The market manager says no state inspector has come here in the 6 years they've been open. We heard the same in Lawrenceburg.
Have you ever seen an inspector out here, Mr. Money?
No.
In fact, the state of Indiana doesn't inspect at all. Kentucky and Ohio do, but
There's over 400 markets in Ohio, and most of them are on Saturdays. And even if we were going to hit everyone on one Saturday, we don't have the staff.
And how do you keep your cheeses cold?
leaving markets dependent on local inspections. Some counties inspect several times a season, some not at all. Clearly, customers should be aware.
Understand that if you're purchasing produce from a farmer's market, there is very little to no regulation being done on that.
Keep in mind, we found no records ever of any foodborne illnesses that started at a farmer's market in the tri-state. Fact is, many items are low risk, vegetables and fruits, though you should wash them. But some need refrigeration, or they need to be covered for sanitary reasons. We have tips on what you should watch for, plus a complete listing of farmers markets in the tri-state, and a lot more at WCPO.com. Clyde?
Good heads up this time of year, Hagit. Thanks. Straight